WGA will no longer award video game writing. This is from Matt Kim over at IGN. It says the Writers Guild of America confirmed today that it is dropping the video games category from its annual awards until further notice. In a statement to IGN, a WGA spokesperson confirmed that, quote, there won't be a video game writing award in 2020, end quote. The WGA did say that the category may return in the future. However, quote, when there's a critical mass of video games covered by the WGA in order to provide a meaningful award selection process, end quote. The WGA awards have had a video game category since 2008. Previous winners include God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, and The Last of Us. We'll get to another pertinent quote here in just a second. I do want to point out, I went back and looked at the previous winners of this WGA video game writing award, and they all seem to come from the same stable of publishers. So there was a lot of Sony in there, as you can see, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, The Last of Us, Assassin's Creed, a lot of Ubisoft games on there. There was I think one of the Tomb Raider games was on there, so Square Enix. It's a lot of big publishers, and that's going to make a lot more sense here in a second. Here was Neil Druckmann's response first, quote, very disappointed at the WGA for removing the video game category from their awards, end quote. A misguided slap in the face for writers in games, end quote. Here's the one I want to highlight, though. Quote, this is from Portal and Half-Life writer Chet Falzich. On Twitter, said, quote, I've never joined the WGA and never will. To win this award, you have to be a member. When they asked us to join so we could win, we could pay dues, but not vote because game writing isn't real writing. Not like have a short story published in a zine read by 12 people, end quote. How fucking cool using the word zine, first of all. So what I'm assuming they mean by a critical mass of video games is that there are just not enough people willing to play ball with these awards. And this is not just with the Writers Guild of America. I am sure that this is the way that it works for a bevy of of award shows, that you have to pay to be a member of it to even be considered. And I think that makes a lot more sense when you look. That makes it make a lot more sense when you look and see, oh, it's Sony, it's Ubisoft, it's Square Enix, it's very big publishers that are willing to pay the money to get the recognition so that they could slap a sticker on their box on a re-release of it to say, winner of the Video Game Writing Award, or, put that up in some sort of sizzle reel trailer or something like that. And so much good writing has been done in the quad A space, not the quad A, I'm sorry, the double A space and the independent space. We have not seen quad A yet, and that is what Microsoft is working on with the initiative. But that I can see how Hellblade, before Ninja Theory got swept up by Xbox, was like, hey, we can't really afford to join the Writers Guild of America. It's not really the best use of our money, despite the fact that game is incredible. The story in that game is fucking incredible. So, and plus, there's tons of awards already that exist within the video game sphere itself, and I think a lot of times, video games inclusion in something like the WGA is this rat race that games have been on for years and years, where they try to legitimize themselves with other kinds of media. Like, if we can get people talking about video games next to movies, next to television, next to books, next to short stories, next to poetry, then in some high level way, we've made it. We are now legitimate. And I think that there's less and less of that feeling going around in the game space. I think people that work in that space love the medium, consider themselves legitimate already, and don't need the validation from these kinds of organizations, especially if they're going around saying, hey, you got to pay us money. But if you pay us money, you aren't able to vote still in it because you're not real writers. Like, that's shitty. So I don't know. Is it a slap in the face? Absolutely. But I think it makes sense. Game studios don't want to play ball. WGA wants to take their ball and go home because they're like, hey, we seem to be giving this shit to the same people over and over again. to the same publishers over and over again. Not a lot to choose from here.